William Shakespeare. In the heart of 16th century England, in the market town of Stratford-upon-Avon, a child was born under the shadow of April skies. His name was William Shakespeare, and though no comet blazed across the heavens to announce his birth, his words would one day light up the world. Born in 1564 to John Shakespeare, a glovemaker and local politician, and Mary Arden, a woman of noble descent, William entered a world torn between tradition and transformation. England was gripped by the Renaissance, an age of discovery, art, and ideas. And yet, in the cobbled streets of Stratford, no one could have foreseen that this boy would go on to reshape the English language. As a child, Shakespeare likely attended the King's New School, where he would have studied Latin literature, rhetoric, and grammar. But education was only part of his foundation. The rest was imagination. By the time he was 18, he married Anne Hathaway, a woman 8 years his senior. Within 3 years, they had 3 children, Susanna and the twins Hamnet and Judith. Then, he vanished. For 7 years, from 1585 to 1592, history loses track of Shakespeare. These are famously known as his lost years. Where did he go? What did he do? Did he work as a teacher in the countryside, a soldier in the north, or an actor wandering from town to town? Some say he traveled to Italy. Others believe he joined a group of traveling players. There is even speculation that he fled Stratford after being caught poaching deer from a nobleman's land. Whatever the truth, he returned to history in 1592, bursting into the London theater scene like a tempest. A jealous rival mocked him in a published pamphlet, calling him an upstart crow. But Shakespeare embraced the insult. By 1594, he was not just an actor. He was writing and performing plays for the Lord Chamberlain's Men, a rising theater company patronized by royalty. London was alive with plague, power, and poetry, and Shakespeare thrived in the chaos. His early works ranged from comedies like The Taming of the Shrew to the blood-soaked revenge tragedy, Titus Andronicus. But it was Romeo and Juliet that pierced the hearts of audiences, cementing his place as a voice of passion, pain, and poetic genius. As England entered a golden age under Queen Elizabeth I, Shakespeare became its golden playwright. He wrote for both the stage and the court, dazzling both the common man and the aristocrat. His plays were more than entertainment. They were reflections of the human condition. In Hamlet, he explored madness and mortality. In Macbeth, he dissected ambition and guilt. In Othello, he exposed jealousy and manipulation. He didn't write characters. He wrote souls. But his life was not without shadows. In 1596, his only son, Hamnet, died at the age of 11. The grief is never explicitly mentioned in his plays, but some believe the ghost of Hamnet haunts Hamlet, a prince who, like Shakespeare himself, wrestles with loss, legacy, and the meaning of life. As his fame grew, so did his fortune. Shakespeare became a shrewd businessman, investing in real estate and becoming part owner of the iconic Globe Theatre. He wrote during the day and acted at night. He negotiated with royalty and rubbed shoulders with rogues. He saw his work performed in the grand halls of palaces and in the raucous pit of the Globe, where people threw fruit at actors they disliked. He lived between two worlds, the nobility and the people, the pen and the performance, the sacred and the profane. In 1603, with the death of Queen Elizabeth and the rise of King James I, Shakespeare's company was renamed the King's Men. His plays now carried the royal seal. This was the era of his greatest works: King Lear, Macbeth, The Tempest. These were not just plays, they were storms of the soul. But even Shakespeare grew weary. Around 1613, he returned to Stratford. Perhaps he had said all he needed to say. Perhaps the stage had lost its magic. Or perhaps he wanted peace after a life of shaping worlds from ink. He died 3 years later, in 1616, on what is believed to be his 52nd birthday. He left behind no final statement, no grand farewell, just a collection of words that would outlive kings and empires. More than 400 years have passed, and still we speak his language. We say, all that glitters is not gold, break the ice, wild goose chase, and green-eyed monster, all born from his imagination. William Shakespeare was more than a writer. He was a mirror held up to humanity, a master of emotion, a weaver of timeless tales. He never traveled far from home, yet his stories reached every corner of the globe. He lived in a time of plagues and politics, of love and loss, and yet his words still beat with life. He showed us that the world is indeed a stage, and that each of us, in our own way, must play our part. And though the man is gone, his spirit lives on, in every soliloquy, in every sonnet, in every whispered line in a darkened theater. He was William Shakespeare, and he wrote The Human Soul. And now, dear friends, it's time to close our storybook for tonight. Sweet dreams, sleep tight, and don't forget to subscribe for more magical tales. Good night.